Hello, everyone.
Hi.
It's been a
Hello.
it's been a bit. This will be a shorter session, but to recap, last that we left off. Oh, and also there is a stream to make sure that you get the proper ambience. Um, last we left off, our group of companions, after having been forced underground, fleeing from a ancient white dragon. In fact, the ancient white dragon. And an invading force from the White Wastes to the northern, in the northern part of the island of Ayara. Traveling through subterranean tunnels before they were accosted by a strange spider-like humanoid known as an Ettercap. After dealing with the single entity, they proceeded a bit further along their designated path until arriving at a large open cavern with a massive crystalline structure formed up at the top with what seemed to be hundreds, if not thousands, of glowing toadstools, giving this faint blue dim light across the entire cavern. At the lowest point in this cavern, they were able to see a village of sorts, constructed of more fungus, and could see beings, fungus creatures, known as Medarkids, that were meandering around but seemed to have been corralled towards the center of their village, while more of these Ettercaps and their uh, giant wolf spiders that they were using almost like hounds, as they patrolled and seemed to be keeping these Medarkids forcibly contained. Many of the Medarkids didn't seem to fully understand what was going on and were trying to go about their day, only to find their ways impeded. Not seeing any other immediate way out of this cavern, you all decided to progress further down and hope that maybe you would find something on the opposite side. Uh, while approaching, Mill made a bit of a connection with one of the Medarkids that was near the fence. And in fact, despite Mill's protestation, the entity reached out a fungal hand and actually touched Mill's hand. In fact, rotting away the glove, one of the gloves that Mill was wearing to keep his bare hands from touching anyone. This connection was made, and through inhaling spores, Mill was able to communicate with the Medarkid. And the Medarkid essentially offered to help you all find your way out of this cavern if the jailers, these Ettercaps, were to be dealt with. A couple of fights occurred, and it's at the end of the last one of those that we return to this tale. As the fence is coming down, and one of these very tall Medarkids, easily twice the height of Mill, looms down, a crooked staff in one hand, wearing like simple, like it looks like clothing like knitted from cave moss. Just simple things like loincloths and like vests and almost like vestment style clothing. Um, as this large Medarkid beckons for you all to follow it into the center of town. And as you do, we turn to a small figure at the back of the group. Blood red visions, a feeling of chaotic magic having swollen into his form yet again. As the masked, but otherwise nude, form of Timble Onchu watches you all proceeding into this strange village. The small gnomish form shakes the head as if grappling with some inner conflict. He takes the pocked and rusted blade that he has been wielding since you met him, and eyes still tinged red with bloodlust. He prepares to throw it, but seems to think better of it. The bloodshot eyes remain locked on the form of Alexander before the pitter-patter of gnomish feet disappear into the gloom. Quarry to hunt another day. Alexander, having been the member of the party that I think had the most connection with this small gnome, having let him out of his cage not but a day or so before, you sense that your party has shrunk. You still can easily sense the presence of the large, imposing Ophalon. Not Ophalon. Damn. Pfeifferon, who is standing amongst you, but you are missing out the sound of those bare gnomish feet. And turning your head to look back the way you came, you see nothing, but I think you hear in the distance those footsteps disappearing into the gloom.
I'll probably just tap Pfeiffer on his arm. The small one has left.
Pfeifferon, it looks back and not in a very unsubtle way, just like fully turns around and like looks and says, "Yeah, so he has. Well, yeah, I mean, I'm sure he'll be fine. He's a what kind of gnome was he? Do you know? Was he an underground one or a forest one? I don't remember."
He seems familiar with the area.
All right. Well, I mean, he was a good little fighter, little spitfire, and all that, but honestly, I was kind of worried he was just going to start hacking away at any of us on any given day, so might be for the best. And who knows? We got however many more days down here, maybe we'll find him again. I don't know. I would like all of you to make a perception check for me.
25.
Damn.
24.
This is the wisdom party. I forgot.
Yep.
Indubitably.
Focus my perception.
24.
11. I'm not very wise.
But you did beat a 10.
$23.
Wonderful.
God damn.
As the four of you plus Pfeifferon continue into this village, you start to see these structures that are building like are in fact like natural fungus growth that has been shaped in such a way to mimic building. And but it doesn't seem like any of them are lived in. It seems more like they're used for storage. Or in some cases, you just see them filled with a bunch of those kind of smaller glowing toadstools. But there is this haze in the air, and all of you that got above a 20, would recognize, especially Mill, would recognize that there's this kind of haze of spores in the area. And as you all are breathing in and out, you start to hear sounds like musical intonations. And as you look around, you see more and more of these Medarkids that are kind of curiously coming up and looking at you all, but they're all also headed towards the center of the village. And after a minute or so, those musical intonations begin to clarify in your heads, and you realize that without necessarily knowing why, you're all beginning to hear these beings speaking around you. It's like being in a crowded city. You hear small voices, deep voices. Some of the very, very small Medarkids, the sprouts, if you will, are following behind you all, and you just hear, "Hello, hi, hello, hello, hi, hello, hello, welcome, hello, hi."
How charming they are.
Do you know them?
Not
Hi.
at all.
Hello?
Yeah.
Hello.
I think just kind of like hold my hand up to like
Yeah.
the spores.
Yeah. As you progress, you make it to the center of this village, following this large Medarkid that you've been following with the staff in one of its arms. It has the look of like a morel style mushroom. It's very, very tall and
Mhm.
like thin almost. Hold on. I have to open my Google Doc because I didn't do that part. But as you get towards the center of the village, you see two other Medarkids that are of similar stature, but different in presentation. You see one who is more like your classic red toadstool with white spots, a bit shorter and squatter, but still massive compared to you all and compared to the rest of the Medarkids around. and the third actually has that same sort of glowing soft blue as a lot of the smaller toadstools around your feet and up on the crystalline structure above you all. You realize that the Medarkids are kind of arranging themselves, and the one that has been leading you in here steps forward and takes its place before turning and looking and reaching out a hand, and in unison the other two reach out the same hand, the ones that are not clutching their staves, and they gesture towards Mill. And all of you hear in your heads at once these three musical voices begin to speak in unison. Greetings, mouth speakers. Your circle is welcome here, small though it may be. Tell us, Sovereign, what shall we call you? And they are gesturing still towards you, Mill.
I wasn't calling myself a sovereign.
You see the three of them look at each other and then look back towards you. The one that originally led you in here says, I am Sovereign Un. The red toadstool says, I am Sovereign Dao. The third says, I am Sovereign Tree. And together they say, we are the Triarchic Circle, the sovereigns of this place, the remnant. You say you are not a sovereign, mouth speaker, and they're now speaking in unison again. Yet you wield the staff of a sovereign. Please explain and tell us a name for yourself and for your circle.
Oh no. Well, I'm known as Mill, and my staff is a burden I carry as the one who is death touched.
I think through this empathic connection, all of you feel it's not confusion, it's a sense of purely not understanding what was just said. However, once again in unison, these three all speak again and say, Greetings, Sovereign Mill, and Circle Mill. You have done a service for our people. And as you're all standing here talking, more and more of the Medarkids of all shapes and sizes are all coming to the center of town and arranging themselves in these sort of intricate patterns until you begin to realize you are in a druidic tri-knot, if as it were. Much like what I in the image that I'm using for my my thing there, a triple knot with the three sovereigns within the larger loops, and all of the rest of the Medarkids are setting themselves in place, and you see their mycelium begin to stretch out from their feet into the ground. The three sovereigns speak once again. You have done us a service, and we would repay that service for keeping us safe. We are glad. Sovereign Mill, would you like to meld your circle with ours? You're muted.
I don't think I'm at liberty of making that decision for all of them.
Mister, what's happening?
Mill, in this moment, in your mind, what is coming to your mind when they say meld? What do you think they are?
I'm
Meaning.
thinking like one with the spore type shit. Like absorb the soul into the mycelium.
Right. There's a like emotion of amusement that flashes through all of your minds. And once again, the sovereigns speak. Mouth speakers, we do not wish to absorb you into our midst. Melding is our process of sharing information, of learning and understanding. It is how the sprouts will learn. And they gesture, and you see that even some of the very small glowing toadstools that make up a lot of the ambient light here move and react like Medarkids, but they're still firmly planted in the ground. They are not large enough to move about yet. The melding process is done once per day. It is how we share information.
I apologize. I'm trying to control myself, I swear. Oh, the train.
Oh.
Is it like you're reading the book and then I'm reading the book?
Would it give you access to everything that's in our minds?
Only that you are willing to share. Melding is a willing process. You share the information so that others may learn.
I don't speak for the rest of my compatriots, but I am happy to show you what I know.
Silvery,
Yeah.
having most recently come from a grove of Sylvanus,
Mhm.
where you are tasked with the protection of life and growth. How are you feeling in this place of decay and fungus?
Kyle, I'm so glad you asked because I was about to ask you if I
Yeah.
could, like, Silvery views, everything as being connected to the Elder Heart, to Sylvanas. Am I picking up? Could I do some kind of check to see if I can feel any of that presence within this
Oh, yeah.
space and within these creatures as well?
Absolutely. Make a. You could make an insight check, or you could make a nature check.
Mhm. Ooh, I rolled hot. That's a 22 on insight.
22 insight. Silvery, you feel further from your grove than you have ever felt before.
Mm.
You do not sense a connection to the growing things above. But that doesn't mean that you don't sense growth. You don't, it doesn't mean you don't sense life,
Yeah.
but it is almost alien
Yeah.
down here.
Yeah, I think you see Silvery is quite reserved in this moment and is trying to like process that of,
Hmm.
well, how can that be? The Sylvanas and the Elder are all life is connected, flows from there, but here there is life still. And is also thinking about like the current state of the grove as
Right.
being decaying and consumed by fungus.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it is not saying much, but is clearly
Hmm.
thinking a lot.
Mill, as you speak that you are willing to communicate with these folks through this melding process, one of the sovereigns, Sovereign Tree, the one that is kind of, uh, if anything, looks more withered and slightly dried out than the other two. But they still have this kind of soft bluish glow to it, and they turn from the other two and look towards you, Silvery. I sense your discomfort. We will not force a meld. We only wish to understand the journey that has brought you here, and hope that you may understand the plight that you have saved us from.
Mm. Are you sure this is a wise choice, Mill?
Someone of your affinity would probably not enjoy it very much. Perhaps keep your hands to yourself. I'm so sorry, he's so mean.
A single tear is
Yeah.
dried instantly. Don't let him see that. But
Yeah.
I give a slight nod, and then a look at the two that had spoken to me. Apologies for any disrespect. It was not meant. This place is just different from where I come.
We understand. Those who would join in the meld, please. Sovereign Mill. The center of the circle. Reserved for a guest. Any others who wish to join, please. And they gesture towards the lines that have been formed of all of these Medarkids that have just kind of sat themselves in place, and they've like turned into they've kind of like set themselves into the ground, and their eyes have closed to the point where they all just look like giant mushrooms at this point. And you see there are places where there are gaps that any of you could step into to be a part of this circle, or these 3 circles intertwined, as it were.
Yeah, Sylvie looks at Mill and thinks again about why I set out to find him in the first place, and realizes that perhaps, perhaps we can learn something that could help the Grove, and we'll step forward.
Wonderful.
Alexander walks forward.
If Celebrate's doing it, then I'll do it.
You don't have to do it just because I'm doing it, Irvin.
No, I want to do it.
Very well. Pat you on the shoulder.
Wonderful.
It seems fun.
Wonderful, wonderful. Let's see.
It's like they want to be friends with us.
I'm not certain about friends, but a connection at least.
Friends share things with each other.
That is true.
Go to all right.
Row.
As you all take your places, that music begins to fill your minds yet again. A thrum, harmonies, melodies. You watch as the 3 sovereigns turn and face towards the center, where Mill is standing. The 3 of them take their own staves, hold them forward, and place them into the ground. They let go and begin to chant rhythmically. You watch as the glowing light, this soft blue glow, begins to flicker throughout all of the Medarkids in this circle. And while at first it is sporadic, eventually it goes in time with the thrumming intonations. Let's see here. There we go. All of you feel something at your feet. And if you look down, you see white mycelium growing from the ground and just wrapping themselves over your feet, not crawling any further up your body, just across the feet. And you see that this net of mycelium is spreading slowly but surely between all of the Medarkid that are present. And you all begin to see memories of the past several of the past stretch of time, it's very hard to monitor things in days in the Underdark. But you see these creatures, these Ettercaps, coming to this place. You see offers of goodwill and friendship from the Medarkids to creatures that at a base level cannot function to understand those concepts. The Medarkids meld and go to rest for a number of hours, and when they rise again to resume their work, their chores, what makes up life in this colony, they found a fence built, keeping them inside, not allowing them to go out, not allowing them to do their work. You sense truly hundreds of memories of confusion, of not understanding, of sadness, but not anger, not fear, just misunderstanding. You then sense deep sadness. A sprout small enough, after taking its first steps, removing itself from the ground, able to maneuver itself, slipped under the barrier of the fence, willing to go out and do a duty that it was intended to do. You feel the entire colony's collective anguish when that sprout's life was cut as a wolf spider took it in its jaws and crushed it quickly. All in all, these memories flood your mind, and you get the sense that it's been this way for 2 to 3 weeks in your concept of time. For the Medarkids, it has been 4 meldings. Normally, meldings are done daily, but in this time of stress, they have not melded as often as they have continued to seek answers. They have continued to seek a way out. And then new emotion begins to fill you all. Happiness, love, community, the joy that is being felt now that the threat has been dealt with, that the Medarkids themselves have not had to take a life, that the fence is down, and that these strange mouth speakers from a world above mean them no harm. I need each of you to make a charisma saving throw for me. We are going to do this one at a time, and I would like to start with Alexander.
This is awful news.
That's a 6.
Alexander, in the deepest recesses of your mind, what is a memory that is ever present? That no matter what you do or how you portray yourself outwardly, never leaves your thought.
It's probably a like section of like a collection of memories based off of his time with shall we say his benefactor? And
Not
he
Choom.
not Chum. Not Chum. It's his first moments of sunlight or his first moments seeing a reflection and his tattered body, and then it's just that eye peeking at him through the darkness, just ringed with rage.
Yeah. All of you see this series of memories flash through your minds, accompanied by sensory information. Acrid, sulfuric smell. The scent of burning flesh. But at the end of it, that warm sunlight once again bathing the face of Alexander. Ervin, a charisma saving throw, please.
Just crush it.
I'm just gonna close it. That's a 7.
A 7. I ask you the same question.
Just doing reading books with my mom and mother.
Yeah. Memories flash through all of your minds of a warm cavern in a cold place. A fire. Books. Many books. So many books that the titles and the words all blend together in these series of memories. The sense of a large presence nearby. Comforting. Warm. Mother, this memory speaks to you. Silvery. A charisma saving throw, please.
Watch this. That's a 10.
A 10. I ask the same question.
Important memory would be the day that Silvery became an Elder Heart Warden, the day that she was in the forest and encountered people cutting down trees, doing some logging.
Yeah.
And she doesn't remember much about what exactly she did, but
Yeah.
she answered the call of the forest.
Yes. Flickering through all of your minds, a beautiful grove, a verdant forest, a forest you are very familiar with, Mill. You sense anger and then calm, a fury of guardian force, and then the calm of a spring morning. A grove, small, several saplings, new, growing, drinking and nourishing themselves on a crimson liquid. All that remains of a threat that was dealt with. Mill Blythen. A charisma saving throw, please.
That's a 5, God.
Mill, I'm not going to ask you the question. Because there is a memory. A memory that is always in your mind. A memory of sadness, grief, and loss. After in a short period of time, a mother and a grandmother lost, their souls gone to the other world. Another figure, another family member, one that should have meant comfort in those grieving times, but instead had only harsh words and determined to make something for herself and not for her sister's son. All of you see flashes of memory, harsh words, physical violence, the striking of vines, the tearing of thorns, a confused, grief-stricken young Firbolg. Their hands black, unable to do anything about it, fleeing away from home, away from safety, away from comfort, into the vast unknown of the world. As all of these memories flow through you all, another memory, another set comes to you. A large, goat-like man, and one who is smaller, but equally as headstrong. The two butt heads, literally, good-naturedly. And you see the two of them sitting on the edge of a cliff. The younger one saying, "I'm gonna miss you when you go, but I'll be there. It'll only be a matter of time." And you hear a familiar gruff voice say, "Yeah, sure you will, kid." And reaches out and ruffles the hair of this younger figure. "Sure you will. And the Thalamore brothers, taking on the world. Yeah." All of these memories flow through. And what's odd is that it's not in order. It's all jumbled together. You see bits of Silvery, you see bits of Erwin, you see bits of Alexander, but still it all makes sense, as if it's embedding itself into your mind, as if these memories are becoming yours. And the Medarkids are absorbing these memories as well, and you feel their real empathy for you and your harsh times. And you feel every sense of emotional comfort that they can give flowing back into you all. As this process continues, Mill, without realizing, you have set your staff into the ground at the center of these 3 circles, of this tri-knot. And you feel in this space powerful magic. Magic of nature. Silvery, you feel it as well, but not quite as powerfully. A sense comes to you, Mill. You think you could cast a spell here. A spell of communion. Who you would commune with, though, you're not quite sure. What do you do? You're muted.
Can I try to... I mean, if I can feel like I can connect to something, it'd be cool if I could connect to something. Can I try to... I don't know what this spell is called. I don't have it on my spell list.
You could cast the commune spell right
I can cast
now.
the communion spell. I'll give it a shot. Let's give it a shot.
Wonderful. Mill, you reach out with your emotions, your mind, reaching towards something that seems just beyond the borders of reality. And in but a moment, you watch as in front of you, your staff set into the ground, an eye opens on the staff, looking you up and down. There you are, Millblythen. And you feel everything, reality, shatter. Fractal images pass through your mind of all of you. You can smell sound. You can see smells. You can hear color. Everything makes less and less sense. And you feel as if you're falling through eternity. Magical runes appear in your vision before extending into infinity. Groves of trees rise and die and rise again anew. Fires destroy the world, consume it entirely before an ocean consumes the fire in and of itself. The magic of life and of death and of the balance between the two twist together into concepts so alien that it becomes hard for your narrator to describe. But still, you fall. Until you feel, once again, a sensation of ground, a place for your feet to set. Your heads are reeling. You close your eyes and open them. And you are in a different space. Still, there is fungal structures, but you're no longer in the Medarkid village. You see massive slime molds coating walls of a cavern. You see what looks to be moss, but is actually hundreds of thousands of small mushrooms gathered together in colonies. You see massive structures as tall as the trees of the verdant forests above that are fungal in nature. And right at the center of all of this, you see a figure. He is like a Medarkid, but not. You see 8 sets of arms at different points of the body, picking, cultivating, planting, molding. All while one eye sits at the center of a stalk, staring at all of you. Welcome to the garden there. A wonderful group to see. I've been looking for you, Millblighten. But you've been a running. Hey. Running away. From what you were chosen to do. Mill, you have no sense of this being. But as I said, it's very... He's like a Medarkid, but when he begins to speak, you see a seam open on the stalk and an actual mouth speaking at you. Unlike with
What?
the Medarkids that speak mentally.
Oh, that's
This
awful.
glistening eye that the closer you look at it, you realize it is symmetrical. It stares at you.
I didn't realize that there was someone looking for me.
The voice comes at you again, but this time it's from a mushroom just to your left. And you see the eye and the mouth open in that mushroom now, looking at you. You didn't realize, Millblighten. Did you ever stop to think, boy?
I didn't have the option to stop.
Didn't have options, he says. Oh, you're a right proper bastard, boy. The voice comes now from the massive slime mold on the wall, and that eye is now massive, and the mouth is there as well, looking down at all of you.
Silver's gonna step forward. I'm sorry. Who are you?
Oh, guest, yes, guest. Forgive me my manners. The face recedes back into that original body, which had continued to form new fungal structures, even as the face moved between the fungal forms. Names are power. And I know your name because you have my power, Millblighten.
But it's only fair, I suppose. I am known by many names, titles, different realms, different peoples call me different things. The Spore Lord, some call me. The Carrion King, some others. The people that you are with now call me the Lord of the Madarkid.
And as he says Madarkids, you hear countless other versions of his voice behind it, saying different names. And the most common one you hear is Myconid. But at the front, you hear
Madarkid. So many titles, so many words. But my name, Milblythen. You may call me Silafire.
and that's going to be spelled Psilofyr.
Oh,
Silafire.
Silafire.
You see, within a moment, as all of you blink, though you do not feel yourselves intentionally moving, it's like you've all been brought forward 50 feet and are now at the foot of this fungal form that is continuing to build. And you realize these sets of arms are constructing myconids, Madarkids, whatever you would call them. It is creating them and then setting them in the ground to grow.
Took you long enough to get here, boyo. Hey?
What do you say I am running from?
Your destiny, lad. Your destiny. You thought your power came from that king of the other world. The Iran. He's called, yes. Tell me, Milblythen, do your powers deal with souls? Or does it deal with what's left after the soul is gone?
It deals with decay.
Yeah. You thought you were death, Milblythen. You're not death, you are decay. My decay.
And all of you watch as Mill in front of you all is separated into his component parts. You see a limbic system, you see a circulatory system, you see everything spread out like a fractal in front of you. And in the circulatory system, at the heart, you see a net of white mycelium encasing the heart. In the nervous system, you see a net of white mycelium surrounding the brain. And all of it is connected through a tether, a single tether that leaves through the base of your feet into the ground, where you see the mycelium travels directly into this entity. In a moment, Mill, you are put back together.
Ah, a seed that I planted long ago, Millbladen. Did you never wonder why? Of course you did. Of course you wondered. You come from a people that venerate life, that protect all that grows. This one here.
And he points with 3 of the sets of arms towards Silvery.
She knows. And she knows you, even if you've decided to forget. But I put you there for a reason, boy. And it wasn't me that chased you out. No, sure it wasn't. Sylvanus blessed your family. But listen, all of you now. Listen to the world. The Lord of Growing Things is gone. The old man of the forest has not returned to the world. You feel it, silvery cranbreath. You feel the loss. The trees that no longer speak. Something is wrong with the world.
I would love to make an insight check on this.
Absolutely.
Okay, history check.
Yeah, you can make a history check.
Everything they are saying is checking out, but goddamn, 22.
22. I think with a 22 insight check, Silvery, I think you don't think this being has the capacity to lie.
Yeah.
What was that history check, Ervin?
That is a 19.
In your understanding of the world and the pantheon as it exists, Ervin, and this kind of goes for the rest of you as well, you are clearly in the presence of something of deific power. But you've never heard the name Silafire. That does not exist in the Pantheon. That is not even amongst the names of known Archfey that are outside of the Pantheon. This is untread territory. The
There
voice...
is-
Oh, go
oh.
for it, Silvery. Go for it.
There might be something wrong with the grove, the forests as of late, but Sylvanus will. You, you lie.
The voice is soft, although still as gravelly. And you hear empathy.
Oh, I wish that were true. The Lord of the Forest is gone. He may yet come back, you are right. But it has never gone this long without anyone being able to feel his presence. The Aran and the others, the Tilwith Teg, They search for their brethren, but they will not find him.
You lie. You lie. Yes. Silver trails off.
Are you a bad girl or a good girl?
Say that again, Gio.
Are you a bad girl or a good girl?
There's a soft chuckle. He says,
The only beings for whom I am a god are those that you currently stand in the circle with up above. I am one of many of myself. I am one from many worlds. Wherever there is life, I also must exist. Because all life ends. And when the souls move on to wherever it is they go, someone has to clean up what remains. That is my charge. And that is your charge, Melblyden.
his form shrinks until he is more the size of a true Medarkid, like ones you've seen above. And in this form now, looks, though still mushroom in shape, looks more like a very old, tired man. And he strides forward. And he grabs both of your hands, Mill, and holds them. And he says,
The hands. These hands can cause green to fade to black. But look around you, Melblyden.
and he points at all of it, the mold, the fungus, everything in this garden around him.
Does that look like death to you? You are necessary. I put you there for a reason. And damned to those that drove you out. Damn 'em. You are the balance. They are going to search every last inch of that forest. And they're not going to find Sylvanus. And so, something else must do it. You are not death, Melblyden. You are decay.
Why it's that happening? That was supposed to be on loop. Back to this.
You are not death, Melblyden. You are decay. And what is decay but an extant form of life?
And he takes a gnarled, stubby finger and jabs you in the chest.
So stop running. And stop trying to forget.
And he points towards Silvery.
'Cause you know her just like she knows you. And she needs you. They all need you. These hands can rot away thing. But only if that's what you want them to do. Now,
Speak.
Why should I help them when they didn't want me?
because it's not just about them, Mirablythen. This is about the world. If Sylvanus cannot be found, if the balance is not restored, then the times of never winter or always winter will come. And all will die before its time. It is my duty, my destiny, to consume this world when it is time. It is not yet time, Mirablythen. And forces older than the world are at play.
And I think in this moment, you all feel a flash of that memory of that white form. Massive wings, claws, icy breath, blockading a chasm.
Something is wrong, and the balance has shifted. We have to set it right. You have to set it right. Find the old man of the forest. If you can. And if you can't, well, see to it that the world doesn't get destroyed while we wait for someone else to do it, eh?
He leans back.
Many worlds, many names, many faces I've seen. But I only plant a seed when it's their time to grow, eh?
The arms reach out and grab chunks of moss, of fungus, and begin sculpting again. The eye begins to close. Almost like he's tired.
Deal with souls if you wish, Mirablythen. But that is not your gift. Yours is for the here and the now. Go forth and do what must be done.
And the eye closes. And you all feel yourselves, it's like a hook right behind your belly button just pulls you from behind. And you feel yourselves being pulled again through time, through space, through color, through sound. Until you find yourselves again standing surrounded by Medarkid, and you feel that empathy, that feeling of feelings, concern, curiosity, misunderstanding all around you as all of you open your eyes. And Mill, you see that you have pulled your staff out of the ground, and there is no eye open staring at you. It is as it always has been. You hear the voices of the three sovereigns together in all of your minds. Are you all right? It has been quite some time since the melding began, and you did not snap out of it with the rest of us. You are all egregiously tired. Your legs are sore, as if you've been standing in place for many hours without movement, without stretching. The Medarkid sovereigns look to each other and look back at all of you. It is time for rest. Mill Blythen, sovereign of this circle, you and these that follow you are welcome and safe within our circle. Rest, and when you awake, we will guide you to the edge of our territory, that you may continue your journey. Thank you for what you have done this day. And you see they gesture towards one of the fungal pseudo structures that does have a like a an an area within that is large enough for all of you to lay out any bedrolls or anything like that that you might have on you. And as you all head that direction, Pfeifferon. That was a fucking trip. What the hell? Just what was that? What's going on?
I felt like I was in a dream.
Now everybody else saw all of that, right?
A nightmare.
All right. Good to know I'm not going crazy.
I just look at Mill. What's Mill doing?
Mill is like full void staring with just tears
Yeah,
soaking his face.
cool. Yeah, Silvery's in no emotional state to
Yeah.
deal with this,
Uh,
to reach out to you, so just
what
notices.
Yeah. Silvery, what is your passive perception?
17.
Alexander, what is your passive perception?
23.
God damn.
Ervin, what is your passive perception?
11.
Silvery and Alexander, the two of you notice not much of your group, aside from being dog tired, has changed in these hours of whatever just happened. But you do catch notice of one thing as Mill is guided into these sleeping quarters with all of you. The gloves that Mill had worn over his hands, both of them now, are gone.
Huh.
I am going to reach one of my long arms
Yeah.
and take Silvery's hand.
It snaps over.
Yeah.
Silvery, I'm sorry I left.
It is not your fault. You were but a child. You were driven out. You have nothing to apologize for. Yeah, and even as she's saying this, similar to a 1,000-yard stare going on,
Yeah.
still kind of.
We will find Sylvanus.
Yes. Yes.
I think it takes a little bit more than a bad winter to kill a god.
You're right. We will find him. We will find him.
And with that, all of you rest your tired, aching bodies and find yourselves to sleep. A simple door of vine-like mycelium grows over the opening. You can still see through it. It would not be hard to cut through. But an extra barrier of protection and comfort in this very strange place. And that is where we end for tonight.